Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi
Today
there.
we have Mr. Chattanooga Eduardo coming from us from Detroit, Michigan.
Yep.
Coming us from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So now that the draft over, you have time, huh? Did you watch any of the draft?
I did. Well, I watched most of it yesterday before the football show started,
Uh-huh.
that we do.
Yeah.
And then I watched a bunch of it today, but my dad needed fertilizer and string for his tomatoes.
Okay.
And and then I'm sitting there at Walmart, I have a heart attack going, "Oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be on Dr. Anthony's." I told him, "You got 10 minutes, Dad." And after about 20 minutes, I ran in there and looked for him, and he was talking to a friend from church.
Oh, okay. No big thing.
Oh,
We would have, I would have carried on by myself. This is supposed to be the California crew, but the other Californians are busy today. So it's the bi-coastal crew
there you go.
with
I've got
myself.
relatives in California.
Oh, that's good. Your screen is frozen there, Ed. All we see is you smiling with the Kansas City.
Oh, you know what? I turned off the green screen behind me because it
Ah,
was still on from the football show last night. I'm going to leave and come back.
okay. Okay. So it's just me again, everyone. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Hope everybody's week was okay. I did some water changes this morning, and just trying to get my fish room back in order before I go to Peru. I see we had a comment by Jeff that he is taking an interest in South American killifish.
Ooh,
Yeah, they're
that's cool.
South Americans aren't quite as colorful as the Notobranchus are. When you live for 1 year, you're gonna, or less, you're gonna have to be really, really brightly colored to attract mates. Those that live for multiple years tend to be less colorful. So, in Peru, we do have some annual killifishes. The Moema, um, Rivulus is the genus now. They tend to be colorful, but the other ones aren't as colorful as everybody else. So let me go down and say hi to everybody who says hi first. Jeff Kane, Amisa. We have Andy Carson. Andy, are you a new one? I don't recognize the name. Linda Worth, been here before. Coral, Guppy Guru, Depths Unknown. Let's see who else. And we have Fish Fam Link. Howdy doody, Fish Fam Link. We have you know, then we have Bunny Viper Aquatics. Good afternoon, evening, everybody. We just have Ed to talk to about what anything Ed wants to talk about. So, what do you like to talk
Awesome.
about today, Ed?
Oh boy,
I'm putting the pressure on you.
yep, I've been running around like crazy. Well, it was awesome to see that Peter the Guppy Guru's here.
And
He
we
put
also
out,
have color guppies, Vinay.
oh,
How
Vinay's
you doing,
awesome.
Vinay?
I love Vinay. But Peter just did a video like 2 days ago, and I went to go watch the premiere and it hadn't started yet. So I said, I'm going to go and I'll come back and watch this. And then I never came back. So now I need to go. I just forgot all about it. So I
Well,
need to check that out.
that will remind you to go check his video out.
Probably not.
Go check
I
out.
thought about it too early.
Yep. Check out all the guppies. So how's your fish room going?
Oh, good. I've got a swim bladder issue with a fancy. Oh gosh, baby cat, she has to punch every button. I have a swim bladder issue with a big fancy goldfish that I
Oh,
inherited.
oh.
and it wasn't looking good last week. Like it, and when I got it, they said all of the brothers and sisters of it have already passed away a couple years ago. So this one's just been around for a long time. Well, it's a really beautiful fish, and the yellow or the real bright oranges were kind of going down, like fading. So I put in some salts, and
Yeah.
the aquarium salt, and that perked him up right away. And then 2 days later, now he's got a swim bladder, and I've always treated swim bladder with salt.
Yeah, that's so.
So it's like, what the?
I would do a massive water change and then add salt again.
I've done 280% water changes, and I added salt each time afterwards.
Okay.
So there's zero ammonia. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I feel horrible.
Yeah, I changed over a tank this week. It was a Florida natives tank. So some of the things I caught with Grant and Shelby from the Garden of Eden when I went to Florida in December to give a talk, I moved those into another tank, and I made a black water tank that I added 10 licorice grommies and 5 beta hendra. I thought I only had 2 beta hendra in this 10-gallon tank, and I ended up having 5. One female and 4 males. I thought it was just 2 males in the tank. And I should have just set up a tank for a pair, but I just threw them in this 60-gallon. And then there are 10 small Cardina shrimp in there too. So it's really black water right now. I threw in a lot of Indian almond leaves, some banana leaves. There's been some roots, some old roots that are in there. So it's we'll see what happens in the tank.
I have a whole lot of different. Isn't it terrible when you lose your mind and you can't think of the right words?
Yeah. It's called getting old, Ed.
Botanicals. I've got like a toad and a half of botanicals, and I've been waiting for the perfect time. And that Blackwater tank makes me think. I've been thinking about I've got a 55-gallon tank outside that was gifted to me. It was they didn't want it anymore. So I was going to put it right outside this room, and I was going to put some of my Gadeids in there to try to, and maybe I'll do a Blackwater. That would be pretty neat.
Put in
I've got a lot of neat driftwood.
CPD, Celestial Pearl Danios. That's their main habitat is Blackwater. Or samurai grommies.
Oh, now, okay, I'm gonna let a secret out of the bag.
Okay.
I was offered, and I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna take it or not.
Yeah.
But my local fish store said that they would sponsor my fish at the Clash.
Oh, okay.
In my scape tank, and they were gonna give me a bunch of licorice grommies that they've been raising out in a show tank. And you see, it's just to show people what they look like when they get older, because they sell them when they're babies and they're dull.
Yeah.
And he said I could take those 11 adults.
And
so I've been thinking about it.
That'd be a nice little Blackwater tank.
Be cool. Yeah. Well, okay. Normally I go species only with my tanks in my house. I really only like the cichlids. The 200-gallon I'm looking at right now, it's a mix match of things. I've got a Beischer, I've got a green spotted Severin, a red devil that's very peaceful, which is unusual. One of those giant Synodontis, they start with a D. I can't think what it.
Okay, Synodontis D.
The one that starts with a D that gets to a foot long. I've got him in there.
Yeah.
And then I've got one threadfin Acara female in there. And so but other than that, almost everything else is just a line of guppies or a line of Gadeids, and so you think I should try to put something else with the Gadeids? Or I'd be
Uh,
afraid to get them sick is the thing
well,
too.
I would be afraid that the Gadiads are relatively. They can, since there are a larger fish, they can be aggressive with smaller fish. So
Yeah.
that would be my concern, is that they would just be aggressive with those other fish.
Maybe I'll just put like a bristle nose with them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, talk to my crew real quick. I have to text John.
Well, hi guys. He's texting John, I think. So we got Scruffy City in the house. Scruffy, it was good to see you last week. You're awesome. Oh, or not Scruffy, I mean Surf City. Hey,
Surf
Surf
City,
City's
yeah.
one of your guys. Is he supposed to be up here?
Yeah, I'm texting him right now again.
Okay. Oh, is that who you were saying?
Yeah,
I'm terrible.
that's okay.
But yeah, so that's the plans. I want to try to I've got two different types of Gadaids in my fish room, and my fish room is always about 77 degrees.
Uh-huh.
So I'd like to bring them into the main basement area where it's always about 74, just to and it'll drop to about 71 in the winter.
Yeah.
So I just think it'd be a little better for them to be in a little cooler water. So that's one of my plans. I'm gonna collect all my Corys and put them in a 75-gallon tank.
All of them together?
Yeah, I've got my local fish store had a deal where they were selling them for 99 cents a piece. They're the emeralds, but they
Okay.
were just little bitty babies. And it was like, I don't need these, but I just bought like a dozen of them, and I put 2 in each tank. I don't know why I was even doing that. But then now I've got Corys in tons of tanks having babies everywhere. And I thought it'd be cool to get like 40 Corys all together in one tank and see what happens. You just have
You'll
a Cory tank. There will be one angelfish in there.
you'll have a bunch of Corys breeding for you.
My dad, that was one of the fish that my dad bred, was those exact ones. He also did the albino ones back in the 70s. So that'd be fun, I thought. And then
Yeah.
I'll take them to the fish store and give them for free, and he can sell them for 99 cents a baby from me too.
Or take them to the Clash and give them away to people.
Yeah.
There's always. I mean, you're like me. I give more fish away than I've ever sold in my life. So
Oh yeah.
that's why I'm not a business person. I would not be able to make it as a business person.
I used the wrong side of my brain. I every time people would come to my photo studio, I made the sale. I think I don't know if I ever, maybe once I had a couple come into my photo studio when I had my studio for 10 years and say, no, we're going
Yeah.
to go somewhere else. And,
Really.
but I still loved giving away free stuff.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I always wanted to give them free wallets or something, just wrong side of the brain.
Yep. Yeah, we don't have the business acumen in our brain for sure. Yeah.
That's what you need a Kenny E for.
Yeah. Or, yeah.
He is great at selling things.
I have to take a picture of the.
Have you ever used banana stems for botanicals?
Yeah. We have bananas in the backyard. We grow bananas here, and that's what I do. I strip off the leaves from those, and I use those banana leaves all the time.
Now, what's the little hey buddy? What's the little curly Q thing?
The curly Q thing
from a banana.
That's probably the flower.
It gets real hard, and but you throw it in a tank and then it softens up and the shrimp just chew on it forever.
I would say it's probably the flour.
You want me
the only
to
thing I can
run
think
and
of
grab
that-
one quick?
Yeah, grab one quick.
Hello, Dr. Anthony.
Hello, John Surf City. How you
Hello,
doing?
everybody. I am doing well. I'm doing well.
Got a haircut,
Well,
I see.
I did.
Yeah.
I was on one of the streams earlier and bugged out so I could go get my haircut. I did it just for you, Dr. Anthony.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good.
I was going to say hello to Ed, but he's off tracking down.
He didn't get the part of banana that he's not thinking of. So, Bunny, why do I strip it off? Because, it's just easier to strip off the leaves for me. And they come off into each individual section. So it's just easier for me with my banana trees in the backyard. I wait till they get brown and I strip them off. Then I come back later and cut off the main stem of the leaf to put in my compost. It's just what I do. There's no rhyme or reason what I do, why I do. So, John, you don't worry about botanicals since you're doing mostly hard water fish.
Yeah, I love planted aquariums. I don't have the time to take care of them the way that I would want to.
Yeah. Yep. I have a black thumb, so I can't grow them. So
most of my plant care is in the backyard. I love palm trees and bromeliads.
Ed, I have you on full screen so you can show us what you got.
Okay.
You sure they're bananas?
I was just going to ask, what is
These
that?
things?
Oh, that's the stem that holds the bunch of bananas, right? Is that?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the stem that holds the banana bunch.
I've got a whole mess of these, and shrimp just love them.
Yeah.
To death. Here's.
Yep.
But I brought the whole thing in, so I can show you a whole lot of different botanicals and you say what you like and what you don't like that you think I should go with. I've got a bunch of these things.
Lotus pods. Yeah, I've never used lotus pods.
I've got these giant.
Yeah, I put those in some tanks, just especially if I have a small betta type fish that will use a cave to spawn.
Is that like a giant acorn top?
Yeah, it's a Brazilian nut, not a Brazil nut, but a nut from Brazil.
And then of course I've got these things. That makes a nice little cave.
Yep.
I've got these little things. They look like a peach or a pear rather. Here's one that isn't split. Hasn't split.
Yep. Don't know what
they're like called. A lot of these things, I think they get soft on the inside, and the shrimp just eat the goopy stuff out of them.
Yeah.
As it softens. Let's see. Here's I don't know what these things are.
Where'd you get them? I mean, did someone just send you a bunch of them or what?
Well, I got a lot from my aquarium box, and then whenever I go to shows and things, people just hand me stuff, like bags of things.
Oh.
So I just save it all.
Okay.
And I need to do research, and maybe I'll do a whole show on. We'll do a fish versus fish nut edition or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got a whole bag, and what I do is when I get a bag, then I just keep putting them in there as I get them.
So you
get more of these things.
I missed
here. Elder cones.
Yeah, elder cones
These things look really weird when the shrimp eat all the junk out of them.
Yeah.
Then it just looks like a little spiky thing.
Yep. Go ahead, John. What were you going to say, Johnny?
And I missed the first part of of your presentation here, are you asking for additions for shrimp tanks alone? What,
No, we were just talking about botanicals because I set up a blackwater tank this week with licorice grammies and betahedra and some shrimp. And so Ed was saying he has a whole box of botanicals. Yeah, nice coconut.
that's beautiful.
Got a couple of coconuts.
So
Oh,
what-
I think this is a monkey nut,
A monkey pod.
monkey pod.
Yeah.
It's probably delicious when it's
And
there.
what did you use for your black water, Dr.
I have banana leaves and a lot of catapa, Indian almond leaves. Lots of them.
Oh, I put it
Hey,
upside
what's
down and
A
lost
plastic
my
bag.
leaves.
Oh, your Indian almonds.
Yep.
Yeah, they've been brought into Peru with some of the early when the rubber boom was really big. They brought in a bunch of workers from Southeast Asia, and so a lot of them brought in the pods for Indian almond leaves. So Indian almond, the catapa grows all over the place there in Iquitos.
Oh, look at this one.
Yeah. Kind of turn around, kind of looks like a gluteus maximus.
Yeah. With a
With a
problem.
problem.
Yeah. It's a little tail.
I got one of these. I don't know what these are.
A cigar.
Some type of
Looks
pod.
like a cigar.
Yeah, it looks like a little blunt.
I guess I've got a couple of them. They were just, I don't have them in a bag. Oh, look at this thing. It's shiny.
Ed, I'm a little concerned though when I hear that you're at shows and people are giving you bags of things and telling you to transport them home.
Yeah, you never.
They have to.
I'm one of those guys. If you give it to me free, I'll take it.
No matter what it is, even if you don't need it, you just take it, right?
Yep. And of course, I've got a bunch of the
Choya
okay.
wood. Choya.
Choya.
Choya. Yeah, I'm from the
I got-
desert, and so we actually go out and collect wild caught choya.
I've got a lot of giant pieces.
Yeah, I got
And
some big
one of my-
pieces too.
One of my fish store guys say don't use it because it's going to smell real bad when you take it out. And I'm like, well, maybe I just don't take it out of the
Why
water
take
and
it
I
out?
leave it in
Yeah.
there.
You know, some people like Grant says don't use it in your tanks because it starts to break down, creates lots of mold. But I've had some in my tank for 3 or 4 years for other tanks, and it's still good. It's still hard. It's not breaking down. So it really depends on how thick it is.
Just a few pieces of wood. I don't know why I left the wood in there. I should put the
Well,
wood with the wood piles.
It'll
I've
take.
got like wood piles too. See, I so hope that people will ask me to scape tanks different ways. And that's why I've got so much junk to put into tanks. And then I've also got some of this stuff. I don't know what this is. The spider wood. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's
I don't care for it because
I think it's actually rhododendron plants that they pull up.
Oh. See, it was the root?
No, the stems, the stems.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the stem. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know about Tennessee, but when you drive highways back into California, when you are returning, there are these agricultural checkpoints.
Yep.
So I could imagine being stopped and searched,
Yeah.
and them finding those 20 bags full of
Botanicals. Yeah.
botanicals.
Of strange plants, strange dry plants.
I might disappear for months.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen anywhere but California because Florida doesn't even care about that stuff.
Yeah. You
But I
come
mean,
in.
you guys like produce what 40% of the plants or plant food, like vegetables and fruits of this
Yeah.
country. So you guys
Yeah.
do quite a bit. People don't realize that. That's a neat looking cap,
really
whatever
cool.
this was.
Yep.
I mean, it's cooler than this one. That's just all solid. I really like that lighter insides. I wonder if it's just a different type of tree.
No, it'd probably turn brown once you get it in the tank. Probably
Oh,
one's
bummer.
older than the other.
So Ed, do you have any Blackwater tanks currently?
Me?
Yeah.
I do not. I keep wanting to, and then I don't. Well, you know what? That's actually a lie. I do have one, and it was accidental, and I've left it that way for years. And it's on the bottom shelf of my fish room, down at the bottom, and I just put okay, my mom loves glowfish, and we got her the white skirt tetra glowfish ones.
Yep.
And they've just done amazing. I can't believe it. And she absolutely loves fish. So she's like almost 80, has hated fish her whole life. Now that she has a glowfish tank, she's like loves fish. It's so bizarre. So I got her some of the Danios and put them in there. Well, they kept dying, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. But the pet store does return, or PetSmart takes them back. So I took them back, and we put them in there. And it turns out it's her white skirts killing them.
Wow.
So I took the 4 remaining Danios and put them in the Blackwater, and they, I don't have special lights for them. I just put them in there, and they're doing really good. So, oh well. And then I'm gonna return the 4 bodies that are frozen and get 4 more, or see if they'll give me something in exchange. But
now, are the white skirts the glowfish as well?
Yeah, they're the white, the realtor. The Danio was the first one, but then the white skirt was the second glowfish on the market. And I think they just really make, or they make the fish, or pay more attention to keeping them healthy at the fish store, because I think they sell more of them and for a much, at a premium cost. So
what color are they?
It is what it is. She has 2 green, 2 orange, 2 yellow, and 2 pink, and 2 purple, I think.
That was really cool, though.
She didn't like the blue.
She enjoys them. That it got her into the hobby. That's really cool.
It's amazing. Well, and it's actually, I won the tank from, it was a Jen Williams sculpted tank, or escape tank. And I gave it to my dad for his birthday, and then it just became my mom's tank. So, and Dad set it up in the living room. He's never had a fish tank in the living room, so that's how it became hers, I guess. So,
do they do the maintenance on it, or do you take care of it for them?
I check on it, but my dad does most of the maintenance on it, so that's good.
That's really cool.
But it's my most expensive and fanciest setup I have, probably, because it has the Awazi heater, or filter with the heater in it, and the super fancy lights. It's all the, the zero iron glass. It's a really a big fancy tank. And so I think that's why I told Dad this is like worth $750, or at least. So I think that's why he was able to keep it in the living room, because the price tag.
It looks like a piece of furniture. It's an enhancement, right?
Well, and she just loves it. And when her friends come over, they all look at the fish. They think it's awesome. And like when they invite their I shouldn't say old people, but their senior, they have like a senior thing where they all get together and have dinner once every other Sunday at a different person's house. The men like to come down and check out my area, because I have I've got 100 tanks down here, and then all the women just sit up there in the living room and talk and stuff. So
I think
that works out. And then if I don't want the old people, I just lock the door and they can't come into my house, because we live in a house that has, it's like a duplex type house, so, but it's up and down.
But I think that's such a common way people get into the hobby, right? They visit a friend, or a family member, and there's an aquarium, and it just sparks their interest, and off they go.
Hey, Dr. Anthony, you should put me back on so we can see you guys.
Oh,
That's
I forgot. I
These are-
forgot you're that
These
way.
are
Yeah.
shrimps.
You didn't like to be the center of attention?
Well,
Or-
people like looking at you guys.
I'm so used to just watching your stream that I forgot. I thought I was just watching your stream.
which are some of the best streams. This is the first time we've been on a stream together. This is the second time I've been up. So the first time last week with Dr. Anthony, and I just want to say you bring a lot of joy to a lot of people on your different streams. And
We're talking Ed, not me,
Yeah.
Ed.
Well, of course, Dr.
Well,
Anthony.
No, but it's Ed. No,
This-
I agree with you. Yeah, I
wish I
enjoy-
had half the brains that he has.
But I mean, I wish I had half the artistic talent. I mean, that's one thing I'm not very envious of a lot of people, but those who have artistic talent is something that I've always wanted to have. And my students make fun of my fish drawings in class. They can't, "Oh, that's a fish. Yeah, that's a fish. That's my shark." They.
It is a gift. It is a gift.
Yeah.
Both of actually all three of my kids are artistic. They draw just these amazing things. And I have no clue where that came from. It definitely wasn't from me.
Well,
Okay.
I've been wanting to draw a fish for Stephen P because he does that fish drawing thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And I finally got to last year at the Clash. And he says, "Okay, I'm going to show you the picture." And I said, "I don't want to see it. I think it'd be more fun to draw it from memory." Oh, I wish I would have looked, because I was drawing a discus. It was a type of discus. But it looked more like a yellow tang with the I didn't mean to.
With a
I know they have
pointed
little
nose,
lips,
huh?
but somehow oh well. And I didn't ask him how to erase, but I guess there's a way to erase, and I didn't know that, so I just kind of went with it. That was fun.
So my mother-in-law is actually a pretty amazing artist. She paints, and she's actually right now painting a version of my larger tank here to the right. This colony of Frontosa, and there are a couple other species, Benthachromis and some Gelitochromis in there. And so she has me sending her pictures, and she comes over and looks at the tank, and she's trying to get the angles right. So I'm really, really looking forward to when that's ready. I think I'll probably replace some of the art that's back on the wall there with hers.
Well, John, I think it's awesome you came up last week. That's when I got to meet you, when you were on the show. I mean, I'm officially now, but we got to see you. You've got a lot of knowledge, and you've worked at a lot of shops, or a couple, or just working at one is awesome, but that's pretty neat. You've been around the fish hobby.
That was my second job. I worked at a gas station for about 6 months, and I was just describing how people get stuck in the hobby, right, or attracted to the hobby, and that was me. My young friend across the street got a 10-gallon aquarium and had a few fish in it, and I would sit in his room and just stare at it instead of get out on the street and play football and soccer like I was supposed to. I was just mesmerized. And so at 16, I walked about a quarter mile down the street. There happened to be a local fish store right there, and said, introduced myself and said, "I love fish and I'd love to work here." And he said, "You got a job." So that started it. But yeah, I had the pleasure of working at a number of stores, and like I mentioned last week, they were all just amazing owners. Some of and this was in the late, the mid to late 80s when I started. I think it was 86, right? And so for about 10 years I worked in the industry, and the local fish stores then were a lot different than they are now.
Yeah.
The businesses were much more successful, right? It was before the advent of the internet, right, and availability. So the stores, they made a better profit, and many of the good stores turned around and used that to really improve the hobby. and yeah, I was very fortunate to be able to work in those stores. It was a fun time,
Yeah,
and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from a lot of people.
it was before the big box stores, so to speak, too.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
You know, you had some, especially here in California, you had some big chains, but they weren't like, you know, the big pet chains that you have now. That, you know, one that I always went to was called Puppy World, and our Puppy World only had fish. That's all they had. But you could go, you know, it was all over San Diego County into LA. They would have puppy worlds, but most of them had puppies. And, you know, that's one thing I don't like, going into a pet store that has puppies and kittens, because, you know, they're in these little cages and always feel bad.
Yeah.
So, you know, but this one was just fish, and it was a great store.
Yeah, there was an era, at least here in California, where 3 or 4 of those types of chains. There was Pet City,
Yep.
Super Pets. That was one I worked at. And like you're saying, Puppy World. There were just some great stores. They got gobbled up by the bigger box stores.
Yep.
Growing up in Kansas City, every mall had a fish store that probably also had birds and lizards, maybe.
Yeah.
But every one was built the same. You walked into like a cave, and all the tanks were in the cave.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, and they might have cool things. And I used to just love it as a little kid, because it was like you were walking into a submarine or something, you know, and
Yep.
you're looking in the, I miss that so much. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
They had that stuff there too.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was that the kids would either get stuck in the arcades or in the pet stores in the malls, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Myself
Yeah,
included.
you weren't allowed to go in the toy store because everything was too expensive in there. The KB toy.
Yeah. KB Toys. Yep.
And then, of
remember that
course,
too.
came the era of the large systems being introduced into Walmart and similar big chains, and that was the next big shift. I think that was pretty destructive to the hobby, honestly.
Yeah. You know, our first pet store I ever went to was in a Woolworths store.
Woolworths.
Yep. You know, it was all the way in the back of the store, and they had all Metaframe tanks. And I was, you know, probably I was 6 or 7, because, you know, Woolworths used to have a good ice cream. You could go into it, kind of like Thrifties. You know, Thrifties is a West Coast thing, so.
So Metaframe tanks. Every tank had a double incandescent, 15 to 25 watt
Yep.
bolt.
Yep. Yep. You know, you get them wet and you put your hand in, you get shocked.
Yeah, we didn't keep lights on our tanks. We just used the room lights in my house.
Yeah.
So never had any lights on the tanks. That's why I never had any good plants growing up.
Nope. Like I said, you know, I had Anacharis and banana plants. That's really the only plants we could find.
Coro's asking if George is part of the California crew.
George was actually supposed to be up here today. George was going to be our special guest with us 3, and he texted me or emailed me earlier and said one of his kids is sick. So we understand that, because there was actually a frog event today here in Fountain Valley, where I live, at a terrarium store. So I went there earlier today, and George was supposed to go, but because his kids got sick, he couldn't go to that either.
Yeah. I see George Aquaballs, right?
Yep, George Aquaballs.
He's in the stream. Hello, George.
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah, he's here today.
I keep threatening to show up at the local club one of these Sundays and introduce myself to George, because I know he attends there pretty regularly.
George is awesome. I've got some of his guppies.
Oh, really?
Yep. And I brought them from the break twice, where they almost completely died out twice. And when I first got them, he sent me some, and I was able to get. They all died in my water, but I got the fry to go, and I had them going. And then when I had my heart attack, or not heart attack, but heart surgery, never had a heart attack, heart valve replacement. I think my dad maybe forgot to put the prime in the tanks when he was taking care of it,
Mhm.
because I wasn't allowed to go down my stairs to my home, like my area, for almost 4 months. And my dad was taking care, and I lost a lot of fish treatment. I love my dad to death, so I'm not complaining. But I had a couple, and now I've got a colony again. So I'm gonna start a project for Chewy. I don't know. Do you guys know who Chewy is?
No.
Don't.
He's a Canadian guy, super smart, and he gets really into DNA. And I've got two. I already had one type of guppy, and he wants me to try to breed these that George have, and it's supposed to make a different type of guppy. And we're gonna see, because they're both like a white albino guppy, but when you mix them, they turn into some type of blue, beautiful fish. So
Mm.
about to start the project.
So
Yeah,
they would be
It happened.
aqua chewy guppies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got some guppies in the mail today. 6 or 3 pairs of purple
From Mike?
Moscow guppies from. Oh man,
New local Austin.
your local Austin. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, we were talking about that together. We were because and he was saying that he was going to do the technique, and the bottles worked.
Bottles work just fine. Yep. Yep.
All right, I just gotta do it.
Yep.
Gotta
What
buck
is-
up and do it.
What is this technique? What do you mean?
Instead of bagging them, put them in bags. I put them in Coke bottles, or whatever soda bottles, the plastic ones. When I bring fish back from Peru, I do it legally. I declare them and everything. Instead of bagging them up, I put them in the little pony bottles. There's like 8-ounce bottles that they have there. They're called pinanita, little piranhas. That's what people call them. And because you can fit more in a box. So that's what he did. He sent me, they came priority mail. So he shipped them out Wednesday, and they got here today, and they were perfectly healthy.
Oh, that was really interesting.
Yeah. It was an experiment for him. So I said, hey, if they happen to not make it, they happen to not make it. But let's try it this way. And they're doing fine.
And I'm assuming the bottles aren't sealed or
Yeah. You seal them. You just twist them back together. Twist the top back on.
I see.
He
It's
actually
only 50% water, right?
less than 50. You can go about a third water, and
Okay.
then he put them in a bag, but you don't have to, because none of them leaked. So that's because some people don't like to deal with plastic bags, and
Right.
especially with some of the spinier fish that could poke through the bags, but guppies aren't going to poke through. But if the rubber band's not on very well, the bag will leak. And I've had many bags leak from me, in shipments. You have a bag of 100 tetras of some sort, and it has no water, but just dead stinky tetras.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
So they're sealing the bottles just with atmospheric.
Yeah. Just time. Yeah, because it's their metabolism isn't that fast. Whatever, the bottles probably get down to 70, which lowers their metabolism a little bit anyway. So yeah, there's no ammonia burn or anything on them.
I saw Eric Bodrock. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a big catfish guy.
Yeah.
Well, he had a spot at the Cincinnati swap. And James and I from Fisherman Fever, we were going around, and here he is, and he had masks on, so we didn't know who he was either.
Mm-hmm.
But he had all of his fish in bottles, like orange juice bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like saying, and James loves plecos, and he picked up this pleco, and he's like, I've never seen this pleco, and he says, yeah, it hasn't been identified yet, but we're working on it. So James automatically thinks this guy is got hybrids or something, and then I pick up something, and it's like, these Corys aren't quite orange lasers, are they? And he said, no, they're another type. And he said where he got, or he didn't say where he got them, but he said where they were, and they're like a partial orange laser. And I went, oh, that's interesting. I thought, well, maybe I'll come back at the end and see it about getting some. And then it turned out it was him, and man, I wish I would have got those fish now.
Yep.
But I was thinking, this guy's really ghetto.
Oh, the days of COVID when you didn't really know who you're talking to if you've never met the person very much,
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh gosh. But I just never seen people put them in bottles like that before.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not many people do it, but it's I find it very easy to do that. You don't have to worry about the bag getting smashed or anything. And I've never lost a single fish coming back from Peru, 18 hours in transit on the airplane. So we're talking probably 20 hours in those bottles. So,
Right.
That's really not that long compared to the 3 or 4 days it takes with normal priority.
No, you're using smaller bottles, smaller fish. And is it a single fish per bottle?
A single fish. When I brought in the wild neons, I had two neons per small bottle, and they did perfectly fine.
That's a great idea.
But these are nice large guppies. So one was probably all that it could handle per bottle. Yeah, the box was styro lined, and he had paper in there, so it's just like a normal, how would you get normal fish shipped to you through the mail? And so, he lined it with probably not half, 3/8 inch styro.
Yeah.
So
I can see that being especially helpful if you have something with very spiny, pectoral or dorsal fins.
Yeah. I normally ship in breather bags, so breather bags tend to be much more pliable than normal bags. It's harder for them to poke through the breather bags, and some of them actually. It used to be the breather bags would actually kind of self-seal. I don't know about the new ones, but I know the old cordon bags that you can't get anymore were actually kind of self-seal.
Yeah, I've never used a breather bag. So I don't have much experience with them at all. I always wondered if they were more prone to puncture, since I believe for the most part people just use a single breather bag, correct?
Yeah.
Double bag them.
Yeah, no, I've not found them prone to puncture. The problem with breather bags is they're really expensive. When you find them cheap, it's like $1 a bag.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's. I normally ship, when I shipped out the pistogramma that we had in the Fish Fam auction, I put them in breather bags, much bigger breather bags than I probably needed to, but I just wanted to make sure that they were going to arrive in good shape.
So given
what
them
I
the
want to do
choice,
is use the
breather bags or
heat
bottles?
seals.
I would use breather bags when it's an expensive fish, because bottles, let's say it does get lost in the mail I still don't want. I want with the breather bags, they're exchanging air anyway, so carbon dioxide is going out, oxygen's coming in, so they're not going to run out of oxygen in that water.
Right, time is less of a factor apart from temperature with a breather bag. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what's the longest you recommend leaving your fish without eating? Like, if you would go out of town for a week or 2 weeks, would you recommend if you're having somebody come feed your fish, are you going to say, come feed them, don't even worry about it, come every other day?
A big fish can go 3 or 4 weeks. A guppy,
Oh wow.
maybe a week. I would prefer to have them not eaten, don't feed them, as opposed to someone who really doesn't know much about fish and overfeed the tank and all your fish die. A week is nothing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think especially larger fish can go quite some time. But I think the answer has, there is a factor beyond the size of the fish, and that is the tank itself, right? If you're in a situation where there may be increased predation in the tank, right? If a larger cichlid is getting hungry, it might start looking at a tank mate differently.
Right? Yeah.
You need to take that into consideration. What I do when I leave on vacation with the family, I normally portion out the food. So whether it's frozen or dry, and I will just separate it into, this is Monday, this is Wednesday,
this
is Friday,
yeah,
and try to eliminate any problems. Because I do have larger fish, and they will start nibbling on their tank mates.
Well, I'm going to be leaving town for about 7 days this week. And normally I have my sister's family and the kids can come and feed the fish. And they're like afraid of the cichlids. They think they're piranhas because they're so hungry. They're like ready for it. But I put all the food in Ziploc bags and I tape it to the front of the tanks.
Yes.
And then I write Monday, Tuesday, or whatever days are going to come. But this time I'm only going to have my niece on Friday. So everybody's going to go 5 days. So I'm going to probably have a lot of my fry eaten, I bet, while I'm gone.
Put in, are there places for them to hide?
Oh, I have plants in all my tanks. So
okay, so I mean, they can get away from the parents.
What type of fry, Ed?
Oh, jeepers. I have about 80 tanks of different guppies and other live bears.
Mostly live bears.
I have all sorts of stuff. When you go into my fish room, it looks like a pet store almost, or a fish store. How I've got it all set up.
You said 100 tanks. Do you really have 100 tanks?
Yeah, I actually, and once I get my line breeding rack going, I'm going to be going over 100. It's kind of crazy.
That's great.
See, I would never have the time, but I hurt my back a few years ago, and I'm not allowed to work or anything. So the fish give me something to do during the day, and otherwise, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have fish to deal with, because I used to play sports and work like crazy. And, I kept always like 3 or 4 tanks pretty much my whole life. And then somehow it just blew up.
Well, when you have time, but if you can't work, then it makes total sense to me. I'm a back surgery survivor myself, Ed, so I can appreciate that.
Well, sorry, that's
I work, but I work too many hours to have. I would have 100 tanks if I wasn't working so many hours.
So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for Ed to invite me over, but he has yet to invite me over. So,
I need to get. Well, I used to do all my streams from my fish room.
Yeah.
But what happened is I filled all 4 walls with tanks. And I used to just have them on the 3 walls. And when I covered that other wall with tanks, I can't even get my phone to work in there anymore. So I've got to run the DSL, and I have it under the tape, under this table right here. I've just got to run it through the wall, and I got 100 feet of it, so I can get it going.
You need to start a Wi-Fi mesh fund, right? So that you can.
That's right. Yeah.
Get Wi-Fi down in your fish room.
Yeah. I had okay. So my house is kind of an unusual house because we have the fireplace is in the middle, and I've got like a living room and a kitchen and all that, just like my folks do upstairs. Well, and I use their internet and cable because why not? But it's on the other side of this brick fireplace. So I have that going against me. And then when my fish room's on the farthest side of the house, it's like, darn it. So I put a router type or a secondary thing, and I had it working for a while. It was in their dining room coming down, but I just can't get it to work at all now with that second or
Too
that
much
new
disruption.
wall. But I made the fish room look pretty too, because it was also going to be my studio for YouTube. So it's a real big bummer that I can't even share from it. But
We have to
eventually,
we have to figure that out, Ed.
yep.
We have I'm a technical person, so we just need to set up some time. We'll do a call and see if we can figure it out.
Well, my biggest fear part is I'm going to have to drill a hole in the floor and pull it up and put it into the router, I think. And that's what I don't know what I'm doing is what am I plugging it into?
Mm-hmm.
And then I buy a new router and I'll put that into the fish room and plug that in. It doesn't sound hard, but it's very intimidating.
It is.
I
hate
technical stuff.
Technology is not easy.
So Andy Carson wants to know, what's the blue ribbon behind you for?
Yeah, what is this?
Oh, well, in 2020, I went to the Big Fish deal and I entered the fish scaping contest.
That was the name of the show, The Big Fish Deal?
Yes. It was in Washington, D.C.
Oh, really?
Or actually just outside of Washington.
Okay.
And it's a really, the politics in the club made it fall apart. And I don't want to say on air what happened, but hopefully they're going to reform their club. But it was an awesome club and it kind of kicked off the convention cycle. Well, I won the scaping competition, and I'm the only person, because after that they canceled all the conventions, so I'm the only winner of the year. so I'm kind of proud of that one. And I won just because I had a different looking tank than everybody else. Everybody made like bouquet type things where they made lots of plants, and I made a landscape, and I won in a landscape because mine was different.
Oh, that's great.
How it was.
And
I like making mountains.
And you won in a landslide.
Yeah, I did. I made a mountain and won.
It's a once in a lifetime ribbon.
Yeah, and I won $75 to some fish outfit that I didn't realize that they gave me the code on the certificate, and I lost the certificate. And I tried to call them and say, "Hey, I'm the guy who won." They were like, "Oh, well, if you don't have the number, you don't get it."
That's unfortunate. Come on.
I know, but hey, I got the ribbon, and that's all that matters.
He's the lifetime winner
of 2020.
Yep.
It was so weird because the pandemic wasn't a huge pandemic when we went there, but when we were leaving, we drove by a Costco's and there was cars lined up around the building, and cops were allowing them into the parking lot when and I'm like, I'm going to Walmart as soon as I get home. And then I was watching a stream that Bob was doing it from Walmart in Cleveland. Bob lives real close to me, and he's like showing all the shelves are empty. And it was like, this seemed like one of those, like a zombie movie, you know, when everything just, and so I said, well, I'm driving straight to Walmart. I'm not even going to go home. And I went to Walmart and it's closed. 24-hour Walmart closed. That never happened. So that it had a sign up saying that they were going to open at 6, but you had to be a senior citizen. So I was like, I woke my mom up and had her go with me. And she didn't hardly buy anything, and that was terrible. So I said, okay, we're going to Sam's later today. I took my folks to Sam's, and I'm thinking they're going to stock up too, because I was trying to stock up. And they bought 1 can of green beans. And I'm like, no, you guys should buy a case. And they're like, oh, we only need 1 can. But you know what? They were right. We never went hungry.
Yep.
Oh well. But it
Yep.
was pretty scary.
It was a strange time.
Yep, it was very strange. But we're through it now, and we can go to Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, and we can find toilet paper. It's all that matters. That's that was the big one.
Yep.
Why toilet paper went fast, I don't know.
So stupid.
Yep. We have all these man-made shortages. I guess someone said, "Oh, you can't get toilet paper. It's coming from China." Well, toilet paper doesn't come from China.
So that shortage was the result of folks being at home.
Yep.
So the toilet paper supply line is roughly divided 50%, commercial to offices and 50% to home. So as soon as folks stopped going to the office, the demand for home-sized rolls doubled, and you just can't stop your machinery, right? All the automation,
Exactly.
making the commercial versions. So
wow, I never knew. That was awesome.
See, you can learn a lot listening to Californians, Ed.
Yeah.
Wait, I got to wait for Skipper to make a comment now that you said that, Dr. Anthony.
Was Skipper here?
I don't know.
I don't think Skipper's here today. Let's see.
I have to make sure I chastise you, harassing our poor friend Skipper from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
He's already scared enough of coming out here to hang out with us.
I know. California, we got a bunch of wackos. I'm one of them. I admit I'm a wacko. That's
Join the club.
Who I am. That's who I am. I wouldn't
So,
change
Ed,
it for anybody.
Last week we heard that Skipper may be coming out to visit us in California. Any plans?
Oh yeah.
Any plans?
Last time I was in California was like 7 years ago. I went with the UAW to West Palm Beach, or not West Palm Beach, Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, yeah.
And my goal was to get to San Diego to check out the aquarium. And it turns out, man, that's like a desert with mountains in between.
Yeah.
So, and I was like all excited to get to go to, because we do these conventions all over, UAW conventions, and I was like, man, I signed up for a crappy one because everybody just played golf, and I'm not a golfer. And there's not a lot going on in that town.
I was going to say Palm Springs is kind of isolated, and it's quite a drive to get to any other major location in Southern California. Yeah.
Well, it's a huge gay place, and I mean that with respect, not. But I've never seen so many dog hair cutting places or dog parlors for cutting your dog's hair. And, I mean, there must have been 9 of them in that little bitty town. There was more men's dress places than I've ever seen, with fancy clothes. Normally the only men's place is like a boot store or something. I don't know. Yeah, I did go to, I found one toy store, so I went to that.
Add to your collection.
I got a Obi-Wan Kenobi, glow-in-the-dark Obi-Wan Kenobi.
There you go.
But, so that was what my whole breakdown of California was that time. But normally when I go, I go to LA type area because my relatives live in Malibu, so I normally go there.
Well, LA is only about a half an hour, 40 minutes from us, so you'll have to let us know next time you're in town so we can track you down and buy you dinner.
Well, why is Skipper going?
Yeah, he's not with his job anymore. So,
oh yeah,
you have family here, you said.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen him since my aunt is my dad's older sister, and she died. And she was like the realtor to the stars. She they lived next to Martin Sheen and Johnny Carson, like up on this hill overlooking the ocean.
Yeah.
And it was really nice because like when she was dying, the Martin Sheen or the Sheens came over, and my mom and dad got to meet them. They were really nice people. They're like normal people, you know, so that they were nice, but never saw Carson in our life except for his fence. But but because my aunt's dead, it's not my uncle from relations. And he sold that house and moved to the beach. He has a house now on the beach. But
Near
it's like,
Malibu.
I just don't know if I want to visit him because he's not mine. You know, it's just kind of weird.
He's not
But now my
blood.
cousin, now my cousin Dana, he lives there. And it was so funny because when he came out to Missouri to visit my grandma, we were driving him to my grandma and we were driving through cornfields. And he was like, Uncle Ed, that's my dad. What are all these tall plants? He'd never seen corn in his life. And the guy was in his 40s.
Wow.
It's like, what?
He never had a garden. I mean, he never grew corn himself.
Well, I think have you guys ever had Chinese food and got the little corn?
Yeah.
I think California corn's just that big.
Oh, yeah.
Is my guess. I don't know.
Yeah, where
But
else?
that's all there is.
Yep, exactly.
So
Maybe when my cousin's son gets married, I'll probably head back over and go to that.
yeah, see, one of the problems we no longer have big destination aquatics shows out here in Southern California, right? And so for the Fish Fam family, I'm not sure there's a whole lot of reason to travel out here just for fish.
Well, they had the ACA, American Cichlids Association meeting in Sacramento, before COVID, and it was not well attended because East Coast people don't want to come to the West Coast. And so that's why they primarily try to have it in the Midwest, because it's halfway between, both East and West Coast. Now, West Coast people will fly to the East Coast with no problem. But East Coast people just don't like to fly to the West Coast.
They need to do it in Vegas. Everyone likes to fly to Vegas.
Yeah. There should be an Aquashella Vegas. Why not an Aquashella Vegas?
Well, we're working on that, and Aquashella's in big talks with them, and they're probably still in talks with them. But at the beginning of the year, I don't know if you guys realize, but Aquashella took a long time letting their dates out because we were working with Las Vegas, trying to put out all three. And Las Vegas has, I think, 11 convention centers.
Yeah.
And they give super deals for the show, like to rent the place, or I don't know, it might just be free even, because they want to bring them in for their gambling.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, but we wanted the winter months because last year we did summer in Dallas and it was just too hot. Yeah. So we decided we're going to start taking the summer months off or go do something up north, if it's going to be in the summer. Otherwise, we're going to take those months off. And we already had our spring and our fall booked with Dallas is next or in 2 weeks. And then Daytona is in the fall. So we wanted a winter one with Las Vegas, and that's their convention. Everybody books everything, I guess.
And the hotel rates go up during the winter because it's so nice. And the summers aren't that bad there. They really aren't.
Well,
you can stay indoor walking from casino to casino most of the time. It's. So
maybe we'll work something out. It just we had, it's not just the insides can be air conditioned, but the vendors are still bringing thousands of dollars worth of fish in and the heat in their car.
That's
so
true.
that was I think it's a lot also that we deal with the people that rent the spots.
Yeah.
But it would be huge because we'd finally get California and the whole West Coast,
Right.
So that would be awesome. And it'd be fun to go to Las Vegas. So it was in the wheelhouse. We were trying we couldn't get it done this year, but maybe next year. Well, keep my fingers crossed, because that's one they'll have to fly me to instead of drive.
Yep.
It's like you said, there are so many convention center options, right? And if you're going to the main convention center, then you have to deal with indoor, outdoor, and the travel. But if you choose something like the convention facilities at, say, Mandalay Bay, right? Once you get there, everything is inside. You really don't have to, unless you want to, get out in the summer air.
Yep.
I can tell you why we didn't do it early, like in years past. Why we never went to the West Coast was the Rocky Mountains. All of our truck drivers were volunteers that didn't want, and we have several diesels.
Mhm.
So I think for us to go to Las Vegas, we'll have to hire professional truck drivers. But I think the convention center might make up for the cost of the truck drivers and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so it's just, and I mean, I'm not the guy that works with the numbers. I'm just a schmuck that works the YouTuber booth. But
Yeah.
we're really hoping that they'll do Las Vegas next year. And I know that they tried really hard. And who knows, maybe Las Vegas will break them a deal tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's why we were so delayed at the beginning of the year putting out the dates and stuff too.
Now, Dr. Anthony, are you traveling back to any shows in the Midwest or back east?
No, I not that I'm aware of. I'm leaving for Peru in 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks, and coming back at the end of August. And I may be at Fishtoberfest. I don't know as of this point. That may be the only show where I know my wife is going to a show in the UK, a big trade show, and if I can get a speaking arrangement at one of the universities there, I will go as well, because then I can piggyback off some money from the university to help pay for a little bit of my flight. But if I don't, then she'll go by herself. We'll have a booth there, but right now I don't plan to go to, I would like to have gone to or go to the Clash, but the Clash, to fly out, you can't really find cheap flights anymore.
Yeah.
You fly to Philly and a flight, the best flight when I was thinking about going last year, because I actually reserved a room, the best flight I could find, and this was 6-7 months ahead of time, was like $750. And then you add that to the cost of the hotel, it adds up to $1,500-$1,600 really quickly.
Yeah. Now the trade show in the UK, is that aquatics specifically, or is it?
It's aquatic specific. It's called Aqua in Telford, and it's the big UK trade show. And this year they're actually opening it up to the public, for the public to go in on the weekend. So we're, one of our board of directors is from the UK, and he's been in the fish industry for many, many years. He's actually a filmmaker. He's done some nature films and things. So, he said, "Oh, why don't you come to this? We can get you a free booth and just let people in Europe know what you're doing." So, so my wife,
Awesome.
she knows what we're doing just as good as I do. So, and she's a much more, people person there. She hasn't met anybody that she doesn't like, because she can talk to a rock and the rock will talk back to her. So she can, she can carry on a conversation with anybody. So she's much more friendlier than I am, for sure.
Like I said before, Renee is super sweet. Yeah, very fun to talk to.
Unless you're on her bad side.
Well, I hope never to be there.
Yeah. I'm on her bad side most of the time. So.
That's actually a great thing that the industry trade shows are opening up to the public.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They at least historically, when I attended those in years past, they are a very different thing. So it's cool to hear the public will be able to experience that.
Yeah. So I know Vegas holds Aqua Zoo there, or Pet Zoo. They have a trade show every year, but it's for the entire pet industry. And
now, did it used to be in LA?
No, it's the same group
that did Aquatic Experience.
Yeah, Aquatic Experience, the same group that does Aquatic Experience. Yeah. We would
and
have
that was an awesome show.
yeah, we would
That
have
was
an
fun.
aquatic experience every year here in April, but
Right.
they decided not to do them anymore since COVID. They decided they would only do the big one, up in Vegas now.
Yeah,
one
I
of the, one of
missed
the
them.
guys
They
who
were
used
neat.
to help run it actually works for Vivi now, the online
really?
online pet or fish place that anybody can join. You sell your fish on Vivi, and you get cheap shipping, $25 to ship out your fish, which is
No, I
really
haven't.
nice.
I haven't. I haven't put any fish up for sale, but I've spent some time on that site. They've done a very good job building that
Yep.
platform. You can tell the technology is very well thought out and well implemented. So I really hope that they're able to grow and succeed.
I'm not sure why they call it Vivi. Doesn't sound very fishy to me, but there must be a reason why it's Vivi.
I don't know.
Maybe
But once-
maybe Vivian started it, and her nickname was Vivi.
Maybe
Who knows?
as soon as you hear the name, it does sort of stick.
Yeah. Unless you say call it Vivi.
Yeah, but you're right. The name doesn't necessarily immediately associate with fish or aquatics. Yeah.
Yep.
But it is.
So
I'm
Ed,
impressed with their site.
yep. So you're going to the class, right, Ed?
Yeah, I'm going to be at the Clash, and I'll be doing an aquascape. See, I love the Clash because I don't have to work. I just get to have fun, and
Yeah.
it's so much fun to just have fun, And I had such a blast last year hanging out with everybody, and it was a really good time. And I'm going to have a couple pieces in their art show, and I'll probably put a couple fish in the fish show. And I won a third place. Oh, I can't get it because it's around stuff, but I won a third place medal with my gosh, what are they? Mollies. The mollies I caught down in Florida, the wild mollies. So that was pretty cool.
So it's not even fish you raised yourself. You just went down to Florida, caught them, and
Oh no, I had them for years, and
okay.
it was a horrible story because I went with Kenny and James, and we thought
Okay.
we were catching these for Father Fish to sell, and he brought us to this mineral spring, and there was literally millions of mollies in there,
Mhm.
Wow.
and we caught them. We caught about 120 and put them in a bucket and took them back to his shop. Well, when we were leaving the next day, he said, "Oh, don't forget your bucket of mollies." So they came to my house, but I mean, this water was like in the 80s or maybe 90s. It was hot, and it's a mineral spring.
Yep.
So hard water. We had about 10 make it to
Mhm.
Chattanooga. And I put them in a tank, and I just started dumping salt. And now they're completely winged, and there's no salt left, because they're just normal. But yeah, they were a hard fish to actually get to live, but I'm happy that I did. And they're neat.
And
They're not a giant sailfin. They're just
they're
a
not
small,
giant sailfin. Okay.
They're a small little molly.
Okay.
And if I feed them a lot of proteins, they start to turn gold. So they have little black spots with gold, and they have a small sailfin, and I like them a lot. It's
So
kind of fun having a fish that you caught.
no Amazon
and-
mollies.
Oh, I wish they were Amazons. I didn't go to the Yucatan to find them.
Uh,
You got to go to the Yucatan to find the Amazons.
Yeah.
I think that's funny.
it's very difficult to bring them back legally out of Mexico these days.
Oh,
I did a search for them on Google, and I guess you used to be able to find Amazon mollies for sale occasionally, in Aquabit and things of that sort.
well, they have them. They'll sell them at the ALA, in the
Okay.
rare fish auction.
Mhm.
But when the last one I went to, they went for over $200 for 4 of them.
Wow.
And it's like, I'm not paying $50 for a generic little fish. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's neat that they're all females and they
Yep.
can mate with anybody and become the same fish. And that's what's the
Mhm.
fun of it. But yeah, I'm just not going to spend that time. You know, it's rough. But someday I'm going to fall upon some and get them. I mean, they're a live bear. They produce like crazy. Somebody's got to have a batch of them.
Well, we'll see. We'll
If they're
see.
producing like
Yeah.
crazy, it makes you wonder why they're $50, right? Something is going on.
You just, it's a hard, well, I think a lot of people don't want to keep them because they're really just a plain brownish gold fish.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Yeah.
not much to them and they're pretty small.
Yeah.
So people don't like to keep them for looks. They're more of a science experiment or somebody that just loves, live bears. So
Yep.
It's not something you're finding in your average local fish store.
No, yeah, it's not. If you do, it would be in the feeder section because they have no color. Really,
yeah.
very little color on them.
Yeah, they're like the most brown Molly probably there is. I
Yep.
think it's so strange. But it's just cool. And that's why I would love to have them because they're cool.
See you later there, Daniel Valles. Have a good day.
Jimmy P's here. Oh my gosh, I didn't check my baseball team. I hope Jimmy's not destroying me.
Jimmy P's been here for a while.
Oh, well, I'm glad I saw him now.
We should have Jimmy P on. He's a fellow Californian.
Yep.
Yes,
I know he's from California, but I didn't know where he's from. So I asked him in chat where he's from. He's up by Ridgecrest.
Yeah, he's Ridgecrest. He's on the 395 over there, other side of the Sierras.
Yep.
He calls it the desert, but it's
the high desert for sure.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
395 going up the Sierras. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, my brother used to live in Bishop, and we'd go visit him. Yeah.
Jimmy P and I lived in the same town for about a decade.
Really?
I may have shot his daughter's wedding. Isn't that weird? Because it was a small town, and I shot all the weddings, so there's a good chance.
And you didn't go to jail?
I don't know if he went to jail or not because I never saw him.
Different kind of shoot.
Oh, different kind of shoot. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, the cops loved me. I took care of business.
So Ole Oscars is near Yosemite.
Yosemite? Yeah.
Yosemite. That was a play on a former president's pronunciation of Yosemite.
Yeah, I know June was on the west side of the Sierras. I know, again, another just beautiful country.
California. We got everything here.
New Jersey. I think
beautiful New Jersey. Not just New Jersey, beautiful New Jersey.
So Dr. Anthony, just back to a little bit about the live bears and those coming out of Mexico. Are there folks that are organizing collecting trips into Mexico? Not at all.
No, not that I'm aware of. I mean, Jorge Mexicali Fish Keeper says that there are some people going in and bringing some back in plastic cups and things, but no, I mean, they're, especially with some of those fish that are endangered, they're protected pretty well. So speaking of California being the best, here we got Skipper coming through.
Hello, Skipper.
Skipper is always talking about how nice California is and how they make the best oranges better than Florida.
Well, we do live in Orange County.
We do.
Where they used to grow lots of oranges.
I said that because he's probably scratching his head trying to remember, when did I ever talk about an orange? Orange.
He's looking for the link to come up and make sure that he sets the record straight right now.
I sent him a link. So Skipper, you want to come on? Come on, defend yourself.
Yeah, so Ed, I've lived in Orange County since 1971, and as a as a youngster driving the freeways here in Southern California, as you would get to South Orange County, which is Irvine, and there was nothing but orange trees, just mile upon mile. Hey, Skipper.
I didn't see you down there. How long you been here?
20 minutes. I took a nap.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
This is the first time you said hello on stream.
I just got home.
Oh, okay. Liar. Okay.
Sorry, John. Go ahead.
No. That's I was just commenting that years ago in Orange County we had not only did we have oranges but just strawberry fields everywhere, and that is all gone, all of it.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know it was gone.
It's all urbanized now.
All either commercial or residential.
We're next week we're having the Strawberry Festival here in my town. I live just outside of Chattanooga in a small town just outside. And they grow strawberries all over the mountains up here. And man, they really whoop it up here with the strawberries. We don't have any oranges though.
Brandon says, "Let's go Orange County."
Who? Where?
Brandon, are you from Orange County?
Orange County, California, or Orange
California.
County, New York, or Orange County, Florida?
Cypress.
Jimmy P and I used to live in
Oh,
Monroe
Cypress.
County.
I was at the Cypress College today, Brandon. Yeah.
We like the Cypress Library, right? It's the
Great
Cypress Library, Renee? That has a big aquarium. So that's Cerritos. Sorry, it's a C word. No, some C word.
Yeah, you're close.
Yeah.
Now
Close
I
to-
know why he's behaving.
So there's just no oranges in Orange County anymore.
In the grocery stores.
You find, of course, a few fields here and there, but the acreage, it was just incredible in the 70s and of course before. How many acres and acres of agricultural growth there was, and again now it's just nearly all gone.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, there's still a lot of orange fields in, like Coral says, out in San Bernardino, Riverside County, and in where Palm Springs is, the Coachella Valley. There's still a lot of oranges there, but not like it used to be here in Orange County at all.
Right. Yeah, and if you head south down to, as you're heading down towards Temecula and down the valley there, avocados and orchards and citrus is still everywhere. But
yeah, Renee would tell me when she was in grade school, junior high or something, to walk to their house, they would walk through the strawberry fields and they would steal strawberries.
Yeah, there were strawberry fields all adjacent to my track here.
Yeah, so that now there's nothing but homes here.
And nuts by the looks of this chat.
Yep.
Almonds. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, you're talking about crazy people.
No, they were talking about it in the chat.
Oh, when I was, oh, look at that.
I was trying to remove it and I hit click.
That's pretty.
Ammons as the Central Valley folk call them.
Seriously. Not
Well, our almonds all come from California.
No,
But
most of them they come from China, most of them.
Well, the bags I get say California, whatever brand. But and so I shouldn't say it like that. But so when I was in California, I wanted to get some because they'd be really fresh, and they were twice as expensive. And I said, "Forget this."
Well,
you get a big bag for $7.50 at Walmart in St. Louis, and it's like $15 at the Walgreens in California.
And Bunny, hi Bunny. Bunny said that she lived in San Clemente.
Ah,
It's very South Orange County,
Yep.
the most South Orange County. Yeah, there were even orange and other citrus groves down that way as well. San
Yeah.
Juan, San Clemente, beautiful part of Orange County.
So what do you got in Pennsylvania beside Ewan's?
Cows.
Cows?
Sugar beets? How about sugar beets?
Ours is Middlesworth and Hartley's potato chips. And don't forget about your favorite lemon bologna.
Lemon bologna?
Mm-hmm.
It's the best bologna in the world. It
Is
doesn't say it shouldn't be classified as a bologna. It really shouldn't.
Does it have lemon in it or something or what?
It's called Lemon On.
It's from Lebanon County.
Oh, Lebanon. I thought you said lemon like a citrus fruit.
That's how I say
That's-
it. Lemon.
Yeah.
I say
Okay.
lemon.
Okay.
That's where all those Quakers or whatever they are live. Quakers,
Now-
Amish.
Amish.
We
Amish.
have a lot of apple orchards, but it's not like down south. You know what I mean? Because of how our seasons are. They could be real bad at one time and be really good the next year. So people have orchards, but that's pretty much for like your roadside markets and stuff like that.
Right.
Normally with this red beard, I'm a big hit with the little kids. You know, they get all excited about my red beard. But those Amish kids, they like looked at me and like ran. I was like, that Englishman has a red face, mama. Oh, probably not mama. It's probably mother. But yeah,
Mother, yes.
there was a mess of them around the Clash. I mean, they're like everywhere.
Maybe it was their rum springer.
They're just everywhere.
They go to Lancaster for that.
Well, isn't Lancaster where the okay?
That fish place. Go to that fish place, huh?
Yeah. Out by there, yeah. That
Oh,
store,
Dennis
that store's-
lives around there, doesn't he?
Who?
Dennis?
No, he's a little. I think Dennis is down by Philly.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
Dennis has the cool hat, so they're probably jealous of him for his hat.
Possibility.
Wait a minute. What's cool about his hat?
Oh my God.
What you see on the logo, his logo beside his name that's his actual picture. He wears that hat. It's a pretty cool hat.
Everywhere. It's super cool.
He's a very nice guy. He's a good dude.
That's not what you told me last week about him.
See, now you're just spreading lies.
Pepper.
And then slap him in the back of the head.
Here we go.
They'll make me sick your wife on you.
See,
Say,
Dennis
wow.
was awesome.
Dr. Anthony, we
I
want
was
Skipper to come visit us.
Yeah, he's not going to come visit us. He's saying some old theme park that he won't tell us what it is.
It's Mario Land
And,
Mario.
oh.
there's going to be a Mario Land? Where?
out by Disney,
Really?
Disneyland.
I never even heard of Mario Land.
Have you
Well-
been to the Pirates of the Caribbean? The one in Disneyland is much better than the one in Disney World.
That's what they're.
It's
Well,
like
they
twice
shut
as big.
the one in Disney World. They shut down.
They shut
What?
down ours, I think, too.
Did they?
What?
Pirates of the Caribbean still at Disneyland? Yeah. They redid it, so it's no longer
Yeah.
there.
No,
Oh, it's there. They
It
just
was closed.
upgraded it.
Yeah, they closed it
Yeah,
for a bit.
they shut it down in Florida
Why?
because they put something else there. Oh, probably because of Star Wars.
So we have Star Wars at ours, but
Oh my God, they have beautiful Star Wars.
They have
Yeah.
so much space in Florida.
That's some great Star Wars.
That just makes me so mad because that was my favorite thing in the world.
I love.
It's probably all
Pirates.
because of that girl that pooped in the bed.
What?
what? What?
This does not
That girl
sound like
that
a
pooped-
story we should be asking more questions about.
You're probably right, John.
Aquaman's girlfriend pooped in Johnny Depp's bed and ruined Pirates of the Caribbean for life.
This is the Amber Heard.
Oh, okay. I thought someone did it at.
Okay, he's talking about the defamation case.
Yeah, okay. I thought he was talking about there in Disney World in Florida. Someone did that, and I'm going. I didn't hear anything about that.
That
Well, the
just makes me so
California
mad.
ride was I'll say updated. You know, there for those of us that grew up here, going on that ride, there were many pirates chasing many women, and part of what they did is sort of modernize that. And like I think there were I can't remember exactly, but I think there were some scenes where like women were being auctioned off as a part of the ride, and they got rid of that stuff. And
But it makes it fun. It was such a fun ride. I mean,
it's a great ride.
Yeah, and it just, I'm so depressed. I mean, the one in Florida, what they did was they made the girls chase the pirates instead of the pirates chasing the girls, because they like spun in circles through the windows or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was like, I don't care. They can do that as long as they don't take away the war and the skeletons and the water, because all that and I like, you would breathe in and you could smell the water, and I loved it. I absolutely loved the Pirates of the Caribbean, and I haven't been there for 15 years, maybe 20 years, and now I'm just depressed because that's my favorite ride in my life.
Well, guess what, Ed?
Got to come out to California.
Come to California, you can ride Pirates.
I don't know.
I may be lying. Give me a second.
That's not enough to do it, huh, Ed?
I'm just bummed out. But probably when Ryan gets married, we'll
it
unless
is
he gets
closed.
married
I'm
in
sorry.
Japan or something.
No,
it
is closed. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it.
What? Weren't you just there a year ago, there, Skipper?
Yeah, and I don't remember seeing it. That's why I think it was closed. Because we took the kids. Well, it was the Star Wars. Actually, it was 2 years ago now. Because the whole reason of going was for the Star Wars that they put in. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I want to do that too, but.
And then we went over to Universal Studios for the Harry Potter stuff.
I was spoiled, Skipper. My wife's longest friend works there, and when they opened Galaxy's Edge, they had a cast and crew day, so we actually got to go in as her guest to the pre-opening events. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is being spoiled.
They made us totally. They made us seal our phones in Mylar bags, right? And then they inspected the bags on the way out to make sure that no one opened them and took pictures. Right? It was a controlled environment, but it was really cool.
Yeah, they're very secretive of their new stuff.
They are.
Which I don't blame them, for real. I would be too. I mean, holy cow.
They invest a lot of money.
Then they put there's a new ride they're putting, I think it's called Tron. There. It's supposed to be pretty good. I don't know, man. The prices went up so much, I don't know if we'll ever take the kids again. I mean, heck, they've been there 5 different times. They ought to be happy with that.
It is so expensive. So what is a ticket now?
I don't know, but she looked at it, and I remember her telling me the price, and I said, I don't think so. So I memory dumped it. I didn't want to think about it anymore.
Clear that cash. Yeah.
I think the park hopper is $110 a day.
Wow.
And they were talking about getting rid of the buses. Like if you stayed at the All-Star resorts, they had these buses.
That's where I used to stay.
They would take you to all the theme parks. Plus, the mini golf that was there, the water park that was close to them. But last time we was down there, they were talking about getting rid of it. So I'm like,
that'd be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our granddaughter goes to Disneyland at least once a month, probably. She has a yearly pass, and she just goes all the time. Yeah. But yeah, it's not like it used to be when we were growing up.
Well, when we were growing up, Dr. Anthony, they still had e-ticket rides.
E-tickets, yep. Those are the best rides, were the e-ticket rides. Now, no one knows what an e-ticket is. Look at these youngsters there. They have no idea what e-tickets are.
No.
Tell me what an e-ticket is, and then
Well, they used to give you a packet of tickets that were A, B,
Okay.
C, and D tickets or something like that. And the e-ticket ride was the most expensive rides. Those are the best rides at Disneyland. And once you ran out of the e-tickets, you couldn't go back on those rides.
I think I had some type of thing that it was like a string of some sort that they put around my wrist when I was like 8 years old there, and it had a metal clamp. And it was basically you had to show that to be able to keep riding the same things.
No, that was so
But if they had,
in case your parents lost you, you could just,
oh, I don't. That was way before chips. But I mean, my aunt was rich, so maybe it was like a pass with the tickets all day.
maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, but there was no such thing as unlimited rides. You had to plan out, get there with your family. You had to plan out the day.
Yep.
Mom and dad debating with the kids, which of the e-ticket rides should we go on? Because you didn't get enough e-ticket rides to go on all of the rides that were classified as e-ticket.
Yep.
So it was an upsell. It was an upsell opportunity, right? You could always go back and buy more e-tickets.
Wow.
But then I think at that time, a burger was still normally priced.
A
They
quarter,
just
yeah.
they just offset the unlimited rides with the $13 sodas and $20 popcorn.
That's like going to the movies nowadays. It's like crazy. You kind of have to wait until you get your tax return to take your family.
That's true. I just took my family to the big Lord of the Rings fans. I just took them to the 20th anniversary of the Return of the King, the extended version, and I think it was after sodas and popcorn, it was something ridiculous, like $160 or.
Ouch.
Not inexpensive.
No.
Well, I hear that stuff, and I'm happy I don't have a family. I just got 2 cats, and they don't ever want to leave the house, so it works out really good. Even though I wish this guy would travel, because I would take him to Aquashella.
He's probably more
He'll sit on
famous
my
than you are, Ed.
Probably. More people would be excited to see him.
Ed, you need
I mean,
to.
it's amazing how he knows to sit.
Dye your cat's beard.
Dye your cat. Yeah, little red beard of the cat.
He didn't like that idea. He's going back to bed.
He'd have PETA knocking on his door.
That's all right. I'll knock back. I don't like those guys.
I know, that's why I said that.
I went to the aquarium down in Atlanta, and I thought that I didn't realize that it was PETA protesting. I thought it was something with the aquarium they set up to support the aquarium. And when I found out they were PETA against the fish in the aquarium, I was like, oh. I had to leave. I just left. I wasn't mean, but I wanted to be. Dummies.
You took the high road, Ed. That's good.
Yeah. But I could have beat up all 3 of those girls at once.
Not a good idea, Ed. Definitely not a good idea.
I bet I outweighed them.
All 3 together, right?
Yeah, I could have just done a 3 Stooge snut lap.
There you go. There's aqua balls. $900 for 4 people.
Wow. That's
So it's going to be double that at Disney World itself.
really.
Well, if you get the park hopper. That's if you get the hopper. Because you can get individual shops or individual parks, because they have 4 parks there. But
Yeah, I should have. I had no idea when I went on that early preview. You could buy the lightsabers, and they had a few other things for sale. They were like $200 or something. I left. I went on eBay, and they were selling for like $600 or $700 for a lightsaber. I'm like, I should have loaded up, bought a bunch.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what, people were paying for that too, because we went down there. We was originally going to do that. Then I looked at the price and said it ain't happening. So we went in and built our own androids. I did the R2D2 style, and he did the BB-8 style.
Right.
And I mean that was kind of, I mean, it was expensive, but it's worth it, because it's a memorabilia for them,
Yeah.
And they built it themselves, built it themselves.
One of those sentimental value things.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
it was worth it, and then it, like, they talked each, it's crazy. But the lightsaber thing, man, that thing got so big with them stinking crystals.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the kyber crystals.
The kyber crystals, I forget, was it the white color or was it the...
Yeah, it's probably the white one. That's the only reason why I want to go to Florida, to get a white kyber crystal.
There was another one. They added another one. It was like a black one, but it was
Black
purple.
one. Yeah.
Each kyber crystal, when you put it in the hilt, will make a different noise also. So it's amazing that they've figured out how to make these crystals produce a different sound when it lights up. So it's just bizarre. I have a collection of lightsabers, and I've paid a lot of money for them, so I don't mind spending it on one more. That's a white one.
All right.
That'd
And
be kind of neat.
I'll bite. How many lightsabers do you have?
Probably about 8.
That's
I don't know, probably more.
You actually showed a couple of them one night on the stream.
Yep. Got too many lightsabers. I got too much stupid stuff. When you're working at the UAW and you don't have a family, you got a lot of extra spending money to spend on stupid stuff, and that's what I used to do. I used to buy toys for myself all the time.
I had a buddy that would go and buy the Star Wars figurines. He had so many of them. He had a room in the basement, pegboard on the outside walls, and then he put a stand up in the middle with pegboard on each side, going almost the length of the room, but left walk space to go around it. It was crazy, the amount of. But I'm going to tell you what, imagine how much they're worth right now, because he kept them all in the original package.
Skipper,
It's kind of hit or miss.
It is just, but that is the Star Wars memorabilia equivalent of a fish room, right? The Star Wars people are looking at us going, "You have a room with 100 fish tanks?"
Yeah.
Well, but they paid a lot more money for that stuff. Well, no, yeah, you're right.
They start adding it up.
Never mind. Let me backtrack that statement, because some of our fish in this hobby cost a couple $100. So.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
I have every Lord of the Rings action figure made for during the movies, and they're all worthless. They're in their packages and everything, but everybody collected them, and they made millions of each one. And with Star Wars, you see, that's when toy collecting first got kicked off. And so when people would find one in a package, it was worth thousands and thousands. So everybody thought that Lord of the Rings was the next Star Wars, and they all collected these things, and they're worth like $3 when I was buying them for $7 or whatever.
So back in the 80s, whenever Star Wars first came out, right? Lord of the Rings was what, 2000s?
Right. Yeah.
So there's a 20-year difference. You probably find out here a little bit later that the Lord of the Rings stuff is going to be worth money too.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I was literally pricing them a month ago, and they're less than what I paid.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
It's
Cosman has a
disappointing.
good point, though. With Star Wars people, when they go on vacation, don't have to worry about people coming in and feeding their action figures for them.
True story.
Yeah.
Yeah, your 4-inch Luke action figure doesn't expire.
That's right. Doesn't, won't spoil the room if somehow it dies off. I guess it's the Beanie Baby of our generation.
The Beanie Baby.
Yeah. Remember,
Oh,
people were buying Beanie Babies as an investment.
I have
What
a
is this,
Boromir in a. This is Boromir.
Oh, okay.
He's one of my favorite characters from Lord of the Rings. I loved him and his brother from the books, and Sean Bean played him in the movies. But I bought two and I opened one, and this is the opened one. I put him in a gelatinous cube because he looks so cool. I don't know if I can figure out how to open this thing. I don't know how it opens anymore. Yep. But I thought he looks good because he looks like he's floating.
It opens
That is
from
pretty
the
cool.
bottom.
You can even put
Normally
it
I
in the
have
water.
more toys around me.
Maybe we should make
But
a
I don't have-
Star Wars themed aquarium.
Well, I've thought about it. I have my original Millennium Falcon from the 70s, and every kid in my family has played with it, and now every detachable part of it has been detached. So it's just the shell.
Yeah.
And I got it back like a couple months ago. And I was thinking, how could I make this so I can put it in a fish tank? But then I thought I might turn it into a pot holder or a plant, like a pot and plants
Yeah.
growing out. I thought that might look cool. But I have about 3 or 4 Darth Vader helmets, and I've thought about taking a torch and melting one down and then dropping it in a tank. So that's like when the Death Star crashed into Endor, that his head or the mask ended up there. I thought that'd be kind of fun.
I'll say, Ed, I have some similar interest. What I like are the larger figures that Weta makes. Like they run these short run collectible things, but I have to control the collection addiction, and so I just have Balrogs. That's it.
Oh, nice. I have the giant Belrog. The giant plastic one. I think I wasted $250 or $275 on that. And the worst part is I can't find the whip or the sword. From when it got packed, my mom helped pack a lot of my house when I was moving because I was hurt. And for some reason, she took all my accessories off of different things and put them somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I mean, the sword was like 1.5 feet long. It was awesome. And the whip
this
was
the-
gigantic. I don't know.
This is
Where
the
the
first
heck
one. The first one they made that Weta made.
I don't know.
If it is,
Who made it?
you should look at the secondary market on those. They're no joke. They're between like $1,000 and $2,000. So
I
you didn't
believe
waste
it.
$200.
Yeah. Well, and I've got the Boromir helmet that was leather and steel, and I got that for half price at the local comic book shop because nobody was ever buying it. And then inside they have the number of 1 to 600 or 1 to 500. It was number 4
Wow.
off the press, so that was kind of cool. But when I put it on, it gives me a headache. Kind of pushes my head a little too hard.
But you don't hear the aliens communicate with you anymore, though. So it's got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah. Well, it's either aluminum foil or that Boromir hat.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
You're from the alien signals, so you're
Oh,
more stylish with that.
I meant Gimli. It's a Gimli helmet.
Oh, it's the Gimli. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
still
think
do the same thing.
I think we're losing everyone on the stream. with
I know,
the-
yeah.
No, I'm so sorry, Dr. Anthony. You'll never have me
That's
back.
okay. It's
turned
this
into a
is
geek
free
show.
flowing. I enjoyed it. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I can appreciate it. So we're still doing good. We have 35 people still watching. So hey, that's not bad for me. Usually I lose
Dr.
them after
Anthony,
the first 5 minutes.
What was your first fish you ever had?
Who'd you ask that to?
You.
My first fish was a wild type guppy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was it
Well, but-
like one that was a feeder guppy or one that was caught?
oh no, back in the 60s, those are the guppies that you bought in pet stores to keep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they, fancy guppy maybe had a little bit more red coloration on him, but yeah, you didn't find, it was the infancy of the guppy breeding, at that time.
Yeah, and the wild types that you would see at least in the 70s, I didn't see them in the 60s. They were beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There used to be two populations in Peru, a more red population and a more blue population. But what happened, the red population, they decided the little canals that had the red population, they decided to pave over the road and make cement gutters instead of the open gutters like they had.
Wow.
And now you can't find it. The red guppies are gone. They're invasive. They're not from there anyway, but you can still find the bluish ones. They're all over the place, but that red population you just can't find anymore.
Well, that's too bad. Well, John, what was your first fish?
Jack Dempsey, Octofasciatus.
Wow, you got right into it, didn't you?
Well, I mentioned I was looking at my friend's aquarium, and he had a 20-gallon with similar fish, and that was, I just couldn't believe how beautiful it was. So I quickly went from a 20 to a 70 as it was outgrowing its space. But yeah, I had that fish for a long time.
Those fish don't get enough credit on how beautiful they can
Oh, they're pretty.
get.
Oh my, yeah.
Okay, Skipper, how about you?
Man, I've really got to think, because whenever I first got that tank, which I traded a video game system for, traded Sega Saturn for back, what was that, in the 90s, it was probably a 30-some gallon. Wasn't an actual 29. But I got a bunch of fish at once, and I'm trying to remember.
Wow.
I know one up because I went to Walmart and just bought them. Because at that time, Walmart, they had their fish and stuff, and that's what I had. But I know I probably had a couple guppies. I had a ball of shark that didn't realize how big they were going to. It was supposed to be, because they didn't tell you that, especially at Walmart. They just wanted to sell fish.
They didn't know.
No. Now I've had mollies and platies, and I want to say yes. I had a Cory cat of some sort. And then I went to the military, had to give it up, and got back into it. And I got all kinds of freaking fish.
That's awesome.
How about you?
There, Eduardo.
Now I have 48 different species.
Oh, wow.
That's
Cool.
awesome. My first fish, my dad decided we were going to have fish, and he brought home a fish bowl, the flat side round things, and it had a fluorescent castle in it. And he had a yellow or a gold molly for my sister and a black molly for me. And they were dead by morning because he put tap water in there. And then he got into it and learned how to do fish and got hooked. So, but my first fish lasted about 12 hours. But I loved it, for a little bit. I think my dad thought he was getting goldfish.
So we have to ask you
I don't
then
even
a
know if
special
my dad
version,
realized they were.
Molly's. We have to ask you a special version of the question then, Ed. What was your first fish that lasted more than 12 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, well, my first fish tank I ever got that I got to take control of, because I was taking care of my dad's filters, out of all of his tanks and stuff, because they were all the box filters,
Right.
was probably goldfish, like fancy goldfish, because I played soccer and we'd sell these booklets with coupons in it.
Yeah.
And there was a coupon for a free goldfish. And so what I'd do is I would sell the books to people, and then I'd say, "Can I have the goldfish coupon?" And then they'd have to find it, rip it out, and give it to me. And I would get all these goldfish and then raise them up and then I'd trade them back to the fish store at the end of the year because they'd be about the size of a baseball. And then my dad built a pond in the backyard, and we got them about the size of softballs. So that goldfish were probably my first fish.
And these are the fancy type, like Ryukin and
Yeah.
Oranda, like those types.
Yeah, I think it was Moors and Ryukins. I think were about the only two fancy ones back in the 70s. So
Yeah.
I mean, they probably had everything, but those were the two main ones that they had.
Yeah, those were the common ones. The ones you commonly saw in stores.
But they didn't see them gigantic, and so the fish stores loved getting the trade-ins of the gigantic ones. And it was always a lot of fun. Like then they would give me like store credit, and I got the Creature from Black Lagoon thing that went up and down, and I got my first betta fish. And I just made a community tank. Like I got a under gravel filter. My dad would never think of spending money like that on fish, but I had store credit, so I got it, and that was exciting, and just good times. But it was like a Noah's Ark tank because I would get one of everything, one of every tetra, and they had.
Not uncommon. A lot of tanks were set up that way.
Yep.
And under gravel filters. That it was box filters and then under gravel. So
Yeah, mom was under gravel in that.
they work.
And it was next to a window, so I could see the fish, and I just have to scrape the algae out because I had no plants.
Every day. Taking the algae every day.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, I've thought about doing I haven't produced any content. I have lots of video and footage. I could start putting videos out. But I thought it would be an interesting thing to set up 4 20-gallon aquariums and just filter them according to the eras. One with a corner filter, one with an under gravel, one with a sponge filter, one with a hang on the back, something like that, and just watch, observe, document the differences, and that in reality, all 4 of them can successfully keep and raise fish.
It'd
That's
be
not
awesome.
a bad idea.
You
It's
see
out
the
there
comment?
now.
Yep. You see the comment by Jimmy P there, Skipper, for you? You got to be moving those cichlids into a bigger tank.
When he comes here and helps me set it up, I have the tank and everything. It's in the works.
Now, do you have any of my swordtail guppies?
I just have the mail.
Oh, okay, darn.
Oh, so he got swordtail guppies that I've
You got
been
egg guppy.
that I've been asking for 2 years.
Oh,
You
beautiful.
know, I don't know how to ship.
Oh yeah, see it? There he is.
Yep.
That was beautiful. That's quite a swordtail.
And I didn't have no he didn't have no females with him. And I got 2 females in there from a different style. We're going to see what they turn out to be.
Yeah,
They're
I think the
swordtail.
DNA for the DNA comes from the female for the swordtail, so I don't know what you'll get.
No, they're female swordtails.
Oh, swordtail guppies?
Yes.
Oh, awesome! That'll be fun.
I actually
That'll be
got
real
them from
fun.
I got them from Benet.
Well, I'll bring you some when I go up there.
No. You're not bringing anybody's until I find some. Or do I have to fly all the way to Chattanooga to get some?
Well, that would be the easiest.
Yeah.
I'm
That'd be the
much better
quickest
at-
way.
I'm much better at handing people fish than mailing fish.
Yep. I understand that.
But those fish don't eat their fry, so I've got, let's see, they're in 160 gallons, no, 160 gallons worth of those things right now. I'm going to put them in another 200 or another 110 for the summer because I really love how they do well outside.
Yep. And Jimmy P wants his swordtails, Ed.
Yeah, he wants the same thing as you want.
Okay.
I'm afraid. But what I'll do is I'll just send you both those water bottles and see if you guys get them or not. Well, you'll get them, but if they're all
whether
dead.
whether they're alive or not, that's another story.
Last
Sounds like it
time
works.
It worked, like I said, I got those 6 guppies from New Local Austin just today. So, yeah.
Well, he's halfway closer to you.
Yeah. But I mean,
He's in the
in
middle.
terms of transit time, it'd probably be the same time, because he
Oh.
Wednesday and I got him on Saturday. So, it's shouldn't be that much longer for you. You're closer to Memphis than he is.
I have
Oh, they
fish
ship them
coming
to
in on-
Memphis to you?
No, I'll just, Memphis isn't that FedEx hub?
Oh, I think it's Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. It was a joke. Okay. It was.
But I'm
trying to
still
make-
closer to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Actually, I might be closer to Indianapolis than Memphis. It's kind of weird.
So
I have fish coming in on Wednesday, so I'll be making a trip up to LAX to
where,
use Southwest
you-
Cargo
where are you getting them from?
from an importer. They're coming out of Tanganyika.
Oh, okay. What you getting?
Another species of Gelidochromys, Marlieri. What else is in that shipment? I can't remember the species name, but the Tanganyikan shells, the snails, that the shellies, the shell dwellers use natively in the tank. So he imported some of those. Got a couple dozen. I was excited about that. They very rarely come into the country. They're hard to find.
Mm-hmm. So Skipper, show those guppies again. No, not me. I don't want me. I want Skipper. Okay. How do I put you up? Wait. I want to put you main. Okay. There you go. There you go, Nabokova fan.
That's great, Guppy.
That's my
Beautiful.
boy. I entered him in the show. Now they throw 2 different colors. That's the yellow, but they also throw a green.
Okay.
They're a lot more yellow than what you're seeing in the image for some reason.
Okay.
It's probably
Well,
just the light in
it doesn't
your
help. I
camera.
got water spots on that glass.
But
No,
they're
look-
IFGA caliber, so they got the perfect finnage and stuff.
So Ed, you said you have 110 gallons dedicated to them right now.
I have 2 20 gallons and 110.
Okay. And
So
they're
I
producing-
keep tubs inside and then I do some outside. I do
I
them
see.
outside once it warms up. And so I've got the tubs outside filling up with rainwater. I never add water to my tubs. I just let the rain do it. So I have to drain water. It's kind of weird where I live.
No, I hear you got to add it to Pennsylvania. Like we were supposed to get a bunch of rain. I ain't got any fish out there yet. I was like, we're supposed to get about 2 inches of rain. I should be okay. Yeah, we didn't get even close to an inch. So I got to add water in it tomorrow.
Yeah, we get 70 inches of rain a year. And
Wow.
because all the hurricanes from the Gulf come up and they hit the mountains and kind of stop over us, and we don't get the wind, but the rain just piles. It's the strangest place I've ever lived.
I haven't done any outdoor tubs or ponds personally, but something after watching so many of you in the fish fam do that, it's I'm being enticed. But out here, I think we could do it year round, and I've been thinking about even adding just a small heater, and I think we could get the water warm enough to do many tropicals.
I found out the first fish I put in there was guppies I got off of Maria, Platinum Tiger Galaxies. And when I got them, they looked pretty. But whenever they were out there for, the summer, And I brought them in and put them in that 20-gallon. Oh my God, did they pop? The
Really?
difference in the color from whenever you put them from this aquarium out there and then bring them back in, it is night and day.
It is.
And last year I did, it was a white cloud. They call it, oh man. Anyways, it had the red fins on it. The red fin minnow is what they called it. But when I first seen them, yeah, they were pretty. Then when I brought them in, I was like, oh my God, it's crazy what that actual sunlight that they get, and the the nutrients they get from the sun
Yep.
into that
Yeah.
water, what it does to their color. It's so vibrant.
I've been thinking
Well,
about
now,
having a colony of plecos or cories outdoors, and of course having something else in the vats, in the large vats with them. But yeah, I thought that would be really cool to see if like I could crank up the breeding if they were out in a tub like that.
next year I plan on trying to do blue or green phantoms outdoors.
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be pretty neat. And then they also get all that good food, the high protein, from all the bugs and stuff. Now,
Mhm.
has that one that you've got, I took him out of my summer tubs. Have you seen his color drop any since I gave it to you, or is he still pretty
No,
bright?
because I feed frozen brine shrimp in there, baby brine shrimp in there. That tank very rarely gets like a flake food or whatever. And normally, like if say I am running low and I like space it out, every so often until I get more, is I give them tropical granules
Mm-hmm.
just to help keep its color up.
Good stuff.
Looks like there's another California indoor fishing
Indoor-
inside.
Fishing
California
inside,
got-
yeah.
The most rain we've had in years last month. True story. We were getting
Yeah.
day after day of rain.
What did they call that? Was it a belt of some sort that went through there?
It's called the
El Nino?
no.
Oh.
It was
Yeah.
a something stream.
No, it was called
Jetstream.
no.
No, it was
Uh, they call it what they call it, Renee?
they call it rain a lot.
The rain that came in. They called it the Polynesian Express, but
I know what an
atmospheric river.
There you go.
That's what they call it. Yeah.
Luke, a split second before you
Yep.
said it, came up with it. There you go, Luke. An atmospheric river. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife said it's just another way to say we had a lot of rain. Yeah, we had
Well, you guys needed it, so that was good.
Oh, we did.
26 inches or so just in February. Yeah, we average less than 10 inches a year. Technically we are a desert out here.
Yeah, it definitely put a hurting on you guys out there. Oh my!
Yeah, the snow in the mountains around us. That. Yep.
I had to keep draining my pool. The normal water level is probably 6 inches from the top of the coping, and just every 3 days I had to drain water out of the pool. It's just an incredible amount of water.
Yep.
Now,
Uh,
do you guys get lots of earthworms in your pool?
Nope.
no,
Every year when we put the cover over it,
Mm-hmm.
it rains a lot during, year round, but it's too cold to get in the pool. But the earthworms, I think they get underneath that tarp and then they crawl into the pool. And I put the robot in to suck the pool, and it is so gross because the first time I thought, because I'd never had a pool before and had earthworms and they all turned white, I thought a mop got stuck in my vacuum bag.
oh,
So I
no.
went with my hand to pull this mop off and it went squish. And I almost barfed because it was so gross. I mean, these worms were like super soft spaghetti.
It was
You know,
gelatin.
It was so gross. So I'm pretty bad. For the first vacuuming, I have my dad clean out the robot now. I throw it in there and I say, "Hey, Dad, do you mind watching it and pulling it out every hour because I've got to do something inside?" And he's fallen for it for the last 4 years. He talks, "It's so gross," but he does it.
The only thing we get in our swimming pool is occasionally ducks come in
Yes.
and our stinking turtle.
Oh,
Carl loves the
We-
pool.
Oh, no, he's the one
No,
that
he,
picked
I,
it up.
no, I fished him out the other day.
Yeah, but he was just like 2 or 3 times a year. I was like, "Lord."
Yeah, Willow, we had another one that's where she stayed. She just stayed in the swimming pool.
oh,
Indoor. lives
we pulled a
in
turtle
Rapido.
out of ours. last
Awesome.
year.
Yeah, that's not far at all.
Yep.
The worst thing I ever pulled out of the pool was the 4th of July. It was either last year or the year before. A bat must have got disoriented because of all the fireworks and stuff and landed in my pool. Or maybe he was just looking for mosquitoes and hit the pool. I don't know. But he was all gross and drowned in the pool. And, normally I see bats. They're like little bitty ones. But this was a big ass bat. Its body was like this. And it was a big bat. That was
That's-
gross.
That's
I threw
the
him in the
actual.
woods.
That's the actual scientific name of that species.
Yeah.
I never see those bats in real life. I think they stay in the dark. The little ones you see, but not those giant ones. Oh man.
Out
I hate
here
to
we
see
don't.
a bat because they do so much good.
Yeah, they're great. We don't really, we don't winterize our pools, right? So they stay nearly the same, throughout the year. A little more bleach maybe toward the summer, right, as the heat is increasing. But yeah, for the most part, there is no seasonal difference. We don't get strange animals or strange invaders, except for ducks. Like when they're migrating, they'll try to take up residence in your pool if you're not careful.
Well, we thought about buying one of those things they have down in Florida. The big
Yep.
wiry things.
The screen
And if we
ports,
did-
as they call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we put the cover because of all the leaves that fall. We've got lots and lots of trees, and it would just be horrific.
Yeah.
But if we had one of those to keep the leaves out, that'd be awesome.
Doesn't Florida require that due to like gators? Right? Don't they have some laws around enclosing their pools?
I'm not sure, but if you look at a lot of them, they have that if they have a pool, and they may do it for themselves. And I know if I lived down there and had a pool, it'd be gator proof, that's for sure.
Well, it would keep the wasps and any, all the bugs away too, which would be nice.
Yeah, they do get a lot of mosquitoes
And the iguanas.
Oh yeah, we don't have those either. here.
and
That's nice.
what's them little lizards they have a lot of?
Anolis. They
Geckos?
call them chameleons.
Anolis,
Common name
yeah.
people call them chameleon, but they're Anolis. Yeah. Anolis carolinensis.
Doesn't matter where
Do
you
they
go,
change color?
you're going to see them.
They can from dark brown to green.
The weirdest fish or animal I've ever had get in my fish ponds or tubs is the Tennessee tree frog. And they put off an excretion and it killed all my fry.
Oh,
Oh, wow. That's a bummer.
That was
Yeah,
the
they got that
weirdest thing.
poison.
So strange. They were
We don't
so
have tree,
cute
we
too.
don't have tree frogs. We used to have toads, buffa, was a desert toad, and
Yeah.
those are gone.
I found a mole.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Where on your face? Do you have it removed or what?
No,
on
actually-
your face.
Yeah, no, it's on
Okay.
my butt. It's on my left
Okay.
butt cheek, right beside your name. But
Skipper, he's a different kind of doctor.
Yeah.
he's a dermatologist, huh?
Yeah.
But no, I did. I found a mole in there. I'm like, and this was whenever I was getting ready to set it up, and I'm like, well, they can't see for one once they come to surface.
Right.
So it just fell right in. It had no chance.
Wow. Poor thing. Now, how big is a mole? There,
They get about
or
the size
smaller.
of a dollar bill.
Okay, it's like a gopher out here, right?
Yeah,
No,
they're a little bit
smaller.
smaller than gophers.
Yeah, they're small.
And they don't have like movable legs. They have like two giant shovels instead of like.
Yeah, when they
Cute
run,
gophers.
it's kind of like they're doing the worm, the dance. It's really weird. Boy, they
Weird.
tear your yards up. Ugh.
I haven't seen them here. Maybe it's because it's too rocky in Tennessee or where I live. But we had them all over Missouri also.
Yep.
My dad would stand there barefoot with a pitchfork and he'd wait till they go through their tunnels and he'd feel it hit his foot and then he'd stab it. And my
Oh, boy.
mom's like, he is going to stab his foot someday. Never did though, so that was good.
Muppet says that growing up, our pool was like a giant Japanese beetle death trap, and that happens here as well. June
Oh
bugs,
yeah,
and
Yeah,
giant,
June bug.
and,
Yeah.
the large beetles.
yeah.
Oh.
We definitely get that.
Skipper has a real pretty bug that's invasive right now. I took a photo of it.
Oh,
It was like red and black,
it's a moth.
jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah,
They call it.
the lantern moth. Yeah, it hasn't made it out my way yet. What they were doing is ash trees. They were killing them.
Oh boy.
So one of the rules are some places you can't bring firewood, like if you're going camping or something. And because of those moths, like they're very, very bad. They came from overseas.
They're pretty. I took a photo of them at that hotel. They
Yeah,
were like laying in front, like when you walk into the lobby. They were
What
like sitting
happened
on
to
the
that moth?
concrete.
What happened to that moth if one of us saw it? They got smushed. They tell us
I
they
took photos
actually,
of it.
they
I took
actually
photos and
tell
walked
us-
around them.
they actually
Didn't
tell
know.
us in the state when you see them, kill them. If
Yeah.
you find a nest, you are to call like the game commissioner or whatever, and they have the right people to come over and exterminate them. Like it's bad on the eastern side of the state.
Mhm.
Well, gentlemen,
Yeah, my wife is dishing up dinner.
hi Renee.
For once, she made dinner.
Uh-oh.
Uh oh.
Hurry up, go backstage. I'm going to see the massacre.
Yeah. Thank you all for showing up tonight. Man,
So good to see everyone on the stream.
yeah, we went pretty good
Everyone
time
in
tonight.
comments
So
below.
yeah, I appreciate everybody.
And I'll say this is the no disrespect to Stephanie, but this is the improved California crew, right? Where we're more inclusive. We have people from Pennsylvania, from Tennessee.
Yeah,
That's a cool thing. So
Yep.
Well,
pleasure
Steph
to jump
is smarter
in with
than this guy and me put together isn't as smart as Stephanie. So
and putting all four of us together, we're not as good looking. So got to take the good with the bad.
That's a true story.
I don't know
Yeah.
about that. I looked in
Okay.
the mirror this morning. I thought I looked pretty damn good.
Okay, maybe not you, Skipper. Okay, I
What, did
understand that.
you give yourself like a 9.5, Skipper? Where were you?
I was a
are you just looking
9.5.
at your mole on your butt?
Yeah. When I was a 9.5, then I wiped my eyes and got scared.
Then he was a 5.9.
Yeah, backwards.
Okay, y'all. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Appreciate you guys coming up, and thank you for being on our stream tonight, you people in the audience, and if you are on the replay crew, not sure why you'd want to, but thank you very much. See you guys on Wednesday. On Wednesday, 10 o'clock California time. We're gonna have a guest from over the pond from UK. Talk about what's going on in the UK in the fish industry.
I'm gonna
So-
miss that.
Cool.
Hope to see you guys on Wednesday. If not, I will never speak to you again. Thank you. See you guys later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
That's funny.
When your dinner's getting
Yep.